broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Thunder, lightning! That's right. It's not the He-Man After Show. It's Throwback Thursday here on AfterBuzz TV. Throwing it back to the prisoner. We have I Am Steph Z.
What's up, guys?
That's just, hey, I am Steph Z. How are you today?
I am good. I am
are.
Steph Z. Happy day, happy day.
It's a good day for Steph Z today.
Yeah.
And M. Placo, also known as Meredith Placo.
Nope, just M. Placo, like the pleco fish, but not. I'm the placo fish.
She's a dentist.
What?
There you go.
Oh, like plaque. Thanks. Thanks. It's
all
grade
makes
school
sense.
all over again.
I'm sorry.
All right.
You're not a prisoner to what they used to call you in grade school.
For those of you joining us, sometimes we like to have fun. Certainly within the first minute.
Yeah,
and then we
only
get
when
serious.
number 2 lets us have
And
fun.
then Phil has some
I know.
downing
Depresses
comments.
us.
You know what? We'll talk about that.
I'm sure
We'll
he's
talk
got
about
one.
that.
We're talking The Prisoner, the great Patrick McGoohan, 1967/1968 allegory. We try to go in order, whatever the order that may be.
We go with one of the canonical orders.
That's it. And today we're talking about episode 13. At times it will be spoiler-filled because of the past episodes that we've all seen. However, we try not to spoil it ahead because Steph Z is new to The Prisoner, unlike me and Meredith.
I am new. Hi.
Aw, welcome. We won't ever let you leave.
That's okay. I like it here.
But by the way, newbies are great.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you're joining us for the first time and you're a fan of The Prisoner, welcome. If you're returning,
Yes.
welcome. Hopefully your stay's a little bit better than if you were in the village.
Right.
So much so that you subscribe, rate, and comment. We love that. And in fact, bring more people. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, bring a friend. Tell a friend.
I mean, really, this is one of those shows that while it aired in the 60s, it holds up so well to today. And it's, if you haven't seen it or your friends haven't seen it, I would really recommend getting the DVDs and having a viewing party because it is a fantastic show. This is, my third run watching The Prisoner and definitely my most adult,
Yeah.
I'm the oldest now and I understand it a lot better and I'm freaking over the moon with this show.
And what I love about it is that there's such a need. Like you could be walking down the street and at any inclination that you hear the word prisoner. You talking about The Prisoner?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about prison. Got it. Okay, never mind.
Prison Break. It's coming back.
Is it?
Yeah, there's talk of a miniseries. It's the rumor mill on Fox. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I used to be
Different
friends
show,
with that
different day.
Yeah,
Today,
okay.
Throwback Thursday.
Do Not Forsake Me, Oh My Darling, is the title of the episode that we're talking about. Longest title of The Prisoner yet.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
But
How many syllables are in it?
And wait a minute. This show is the only one so far, correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong, and if I am, you'll correct me, that doesn't open the same way as the others.
You are correct.
For as of this point.
As of this point.
I literally had the DVD in, and I started watching, and I was like, did it skip? Like, did I miss something? And I went back and I took it out. I blew on it. I'm like, all right, I guess. I totally thought I was having a malfunction.
No, this episode did not start with their typical number 2 and number 6 cat and mouse game. It actually kind of went straight into the meat of the plot. You know.
And what did you guys? So general thoughts on the episode. And I'll kind of my overview will probably cross over into your general thoughts and explaining some of them. But let's start with you, Steph Z.
I kind of for a minute felt like I was watching a different show.
I think audiences felt that too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
when they
good.
first watched
I
it.
was waiting for you guys to be like, what are you
No.
talking about? I was like
No,
watching
it's-
this and I was kind of like, this is so different. And not different bad. Not different good. Just different. It was like a different storytelling method for this episode for
Well, there's
me.
more spy-y, definitely. How did you feel about that? Because you're always looking for
I
like...
love the spy stuff.
Okay.
I did. I feel like There was some actual number coding and figuring out in this too, which I really liked. I really liked the spy stuff. I really liked how, we got to know more about number 6 in this episode. I feel like I know who he is more. There's this whole, how he's not at all, for any of these episodes, he's not been at all, flirted or any woman ever. And now we see it's because when he left, he was engaged. We see that the timeline, there was I got a lot of information out of this episode. There was a very informational timeline of that. To him, it feels like he's been gone for a day. And in reality, he's been gone for a year. You got a lot of, there was a lot of pieces of the puzzle, I think, in this one that were revealed.
Okay. Meredith?
Well, so obviously this is a very different episode because we don't actually have McGoohan in most of it. So that, obviously changes the feel
we
of
don't,
the
but
episode.
we do.
Yeah, we don't, but we do. And what I thought was interesting, well, because so one of the reasons is that McGoohan was out shooting substation
Ice Station
Zebra here in the States in Hollywood. So we kind of had a little bit of a switch up, which I thought was an interesting plot device. Also, random fact is that if the series had gotten to season 2, it would have been more like this.
Look at you stealing all the overview notes.
I'm sorry, are those in the over? Oh, they are. Well, I just got really excited because I read that on my own before I read your notes. I got
See, I told you we'd cross over with general
I know.
remarks.
Sorry, I just get so excited when I read things that I don't look up Phil's notes and I know them.
There you go.
But overall, this has always been a hard episode for me because while I like the more spy thriller action stuff, and I think this episode, if it were not The Prisoner, I would have enjoyed it. I would enjoy it a lot more. Not would have. It's usually the case. But this has always been that one episode that I tend to get distracted while watching. And it's just because I'm so invested in McGoohan, and his face. But I think it's an important episode because we do get that backstory of number 6. We get to understand, while it was McGoohan who tends to be a lot more Catholic and conservative as to why he didn't want a lot of the on-screen romances. I think it works now knowing that he had someone. Why would he betray the person that he loves?
Right.
And it's fantastic to see that. And also just, I don't know. It was just kind of it was an episode that I'm excited to kind of get more into the meat when we get to
Before
there.
we get too far into it, obviously I'll talk about the overview, but what did you guys think of his portrayal of Patrick McGoohan? Because I mean that's a big undertaking. You gotta, you gotta be him. I mean,
I believed it.
Yeah.
I believed it.
Yeah, no, it was definitely very believable.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Did you?
I at portions I did. Other times, it's one of those things. I mean, this came about very much so out of necessity, and so it's not like you get to study it for a long time. And it's one thing if you have seasons to build up on. I'm sure they showed him various things, and because they've worked together on Danger Man, so he kind of knows Pat McGoohan, but. It's slightly different.
Yeah, I mean, you make a great observation because he didn't have a lot of time just in terms of filming time to study this character. With what he had, he did a great job. Yeah. This isn't like an Orphan. Well, I mean, Orphan Black, the same actress plays different characters, but it in many ways, to take on an iconic character and be convincing. I mean, I think he did a good enough job.
There you go. So, historically, many people dislike this plot. Because of the fact that it is a little bit different. It is a little bit. Doesn't go as deep as the other ones.
I was gonna say, but that makes sense because if you take people that they're used to seeing something and you change it, a lot of people's initial reaction, especially 45 years plus or ago, is to not like it because it's different.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
I mean, part of it is, I think, pattern interruption.
Yeah.
They wanted to disrupt the pattern. That one, it was out of necessity, as you mentioned. McGoohan was filming elsewhere, so they needed all the stock footage to be used, and they needed to do it without him. This, as you mentioned, this was the first. We've talked about the 2 rounds of filming, the first 13 and the next. This was the first episode without George Markstein. So, completely in a different direction now. McGoohan's not here to oversee it. So this is kind of still left over from that George Markstein era in terms of scripts, because as you mentioned, if there was a season 2, this would be episode 1. You know, and it was written by Vincent Tilsey. He also did Chimes of Big Ben, so it has remnants of that.
No, and that definitely shows through.
Yeah, but I like when we go into London. I've loved that.
I love London.
Well, I think while the village is such an iconic setting, there's only so much you can do within the village, and by being able to open it up to a global village, it does bring the character into a new space, and it forces him to react in maybe similar ways that he would have prior to his abduction into the village.
Indeed. So let's get into it. Let's start with the opening. All of us, even I, was equally confused. I was like, Steph, I've seen this 100 times, and yet I'm just like, what's going on? What's going on? Click back. Am I missing something? What's here?
You watching the DVD, the portable DVD player? Remember when that kept messing
Well,
up?
I did. I had this like old school DVD player, and I put it in, and I would hit like back one scene. I was like, oh, did I hit the button? And then it would go back one scene, and then it would like start spinning, and then it would turn on. And I was like, wait, I'm at the same spot. Like, let me start it over. Like, what happened? Like, is my remote not working? Like, what happened here?
All there.
But then it made so much sense, and it was so smart.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like the smartness of this show. Whether
So what did you take away once you accepted the fact that, okay, this is the scene that I'm watching, this is the first scene that I'm watching, what do you take away?
I right away was like, they're missing something. I definitely didn't know that was his slides that he left at the Photoshop, and that they went and picked them up and then returned them. Like, I didn't clearly know that whole backstory for it, but and then with the overexposed and underexposed, I thought it was a nice play on words, because like, was he overexposed to information as a spy? Is that why he was forced to give his resignation? Like, I was kind of going down that path of thought to see how this all fit. I wasn't going to this was a key to something else, and you needed to put pictures on top of each other.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people thought, were they searching for the village?
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
No? But could you see that?
Yes.
Okay. What I liked about the, it always plays on the line. It almost became like, we've seen abstract art in the series and how that's commented upon, how if you read too deep into it, there's really no meaning. And in this way, they kept talking about the clues. Are the clues there or not? And if you're looking at the sequence of pictures, it's no different than a sequence of episodes. And it's like, we as an audience, us in particular, have decided that there is a meaning, so much so that every episode we're going to go and spend 40 to an hour or minutes on it and give it meaning. And it could just be like a commentary on itself, like, there's really no meaning here.
It could have just been, hey, we had to do this because of shooting schedules.
But isn't that what life is? Like, really, life is empty and meaningless until you put it on it.
You existentialist.
Yes.
Just saying.
But isn't that what art is as well?
Everything is.
There you go. I do.
I got the deep one.
Yeah.
I went deep today first.
But you weren't
but it wasn't
depressing.
depressing.
It wasn't depressing. All right, let's see what else I can come up with.
And interestingly enough, so number 6 was overexposed, and 9 other photos, which if you flip 6, it becomes 9. So
I like that.
And we spoke about this, but this really is sort of more the typical beginning of a conventional spy genre piece, whether movie or TV.
Wait, time out? Sorry, are you saying that the flip 6 to 9 and the revert, like the swapping?
Yeah, if you flip it.
Yeah.
I get it, but are you referring to that as referring to the mind swap, or is that just in itself?
I wasn't before. Now I am.
Just saying.
As she takes a sip.
I think the thing is that with this episode, it felt a little mainstream because it was such a typical hard opener of a spy flick. That's what I wanted to say earlier. It just felt mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, by not having the normal opening, it took the whole where am I in the village, the whole number 2 versus number 6 aspect out of that. And it became about more than just him and number 2.
Yep.
Even though number 2 was obviously present. Speaking of number 2, the Seltzman device and plot. We have a couple of pictures of that. And talking about the conventional spy genre in itself, this whole plot is very Dr. No, James Bond-esque.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I like, again, for me, that I think what I find the most is like almost when you break the system, so to speak, or you break the rules, and I like, again, not to go to the end yet, but I like how they think they've got it all figured out here, and I like the backfire at the end of this plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this plot device specifically because, I know McGoohan has said this is not a sci-fi, this is not a genre series, but I mean, come on, Mind Swap, it doesn't get much more sci-fi than that, or at least scientific.
You could also call it political, because in that time, I mean, how many people were going after like the old German scientists?
Well, I mean, but scientists as a whole have always been used to further wars.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even though they just want to cure disease.
Not all of them. There's bad scientists out there.
There's a couple kooks.
Fair enough. But, you wouldn't say Einstein wanted to create the atom bomb.
No. I mean, like, kooky. Like, they think these big ideas and they come up with something else completely different. But I don't think that, intentionally people create stuff for destruction.
But there are. But look at some of Hitler's own scientists who.
But for me, they don't fall into the category of scientists.
Yeah, I said mad scientists.
So what is that? Warlord? Like what do you call them?
Yeah, like if you're hired by a scientist for me is the guy with the beakers trying to figure out something new to solve some sort of problem. It's not like let's figure out destruction. That's like more of a terrorist.
But you know what? Not even trying to solve some problem. Like the thing that defines science is you just want to find an answer, results. It's not even if it's good or bad. You want
to be able to quantify it.
Einstein, the whole atom bomb wasn't to create or destroy, but it was just this is out here and I want to discover it and I want to find practical applications. Unfortunately, our government found a very destructive practical application for that, but since then we've also found very wondrous applications for nuclear activity in terms of energy and such.
I just if by that point to go down the dark path this week a little
here
bit
we
earlier.
Go.
No, because I'm gonna
it feels dark. We need like a spinning thing that comes along.
I'm gonna use your like existential thing. Like if you have to find some sort of meaning. Okay, so if you find meaning as just like you have to accomplish something, you have to do something. If you're told, you become robotic in that way, I'm told to do something, so I'm going to fulfill it. And then the logical extension is, ultimately life is meaningless, so no matter what I do, and you know what? The best thing I can do for anybody is just kill everybody. I mean, that's what Age of Ultron.
No, but that's twisting. That's twisting my thought. I'm not saying life is meaningless. But But
you could see that as a logical extension. I mean, how many movies and TV shows have we seen just about that as being like
right?
boom.
But in that, like you can't, like you're kind of contradicting what you're saying in the same words. It's like you can't say that it doesn't matter and then we should just kill everybody because that's still a meaning, even though you're falling that into the meaningless category of why someone could want to kill everyone. You're kind of collapsing walls in that.
I don't know.
Ultron
would disagree.
Yeah, Ultron and his robot lips.
Right, but
I'm just saying.
I mean, but Ultron's also a robot who's views humanity as a disease. I mean,
but you could be a scientist and like literally view that if you wanted to be, by your definition, kooky.
Okay, that being said, Dark Beast and the X-Men did view humanity as a disease. Okay, sorry, just crossing genres there. That being said, Phil, sorry, I have to mentally prepare for my next show while doing this one. I just can't even finish this thought right now.
I get what you're saying, Phil. Like, I totally get what you're saying. I'm just saying that, like, when I say life is empty and meaningless, I say that, within that, there's still putting meaning on something in order to want to destruct something. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, science at its purest form is just about discovery. It's humanity's ego and desires that puts that plan into action.
Well, to that point, right, a lot of people's criticism of this was, number one, if you have the technology in the prisoner, did you really need Seltzman? Number two, in order to get them back, why not just reverse the mind swap? People cite that as a huge plot hole of this entire thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah, yes.
So I don't have a solution for it.
Well, what I got was that they didn't really think it was going to work. So they were scared to do the rest by themselves because they wanted to make sure that it went back exactly properly so that they didn't know what had been done to them. That was how I read it.
Okay.
Which, again, though, what you bring up a very valid point in they did it right the first time.
Mm-hmm. They did it right the first time.
But I did like the whole story. I like the story that sets me. I like the slides. I like this. Like there would be no episode then. Are you saying this episode was useless?
Yeah, sometimes you just have to accept a plot hole for what it is and move past it.
Right.
For at least for entertainment value.
Okay. Right. Well, in that case, on to 1 year later, post the village. We're in London. We're in the widespread village, and there's so many comparisons between the opening of what was to now what is. We have, we wake up, we see this man right here.
Surly.
Yeah, here's number 6 as not as we know him, but as he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this. I like that they went through the whole opening. Like, I like it. I really like this episode.
It was fun.
Yeah. It was fun. Maybe it was fun. It wasn't, it didn't make me, dig as deep as maybe some of the other ones, but it was fun.
There's another picture, right, as, and we'll kind of break it down moment by moment more, but the iconic scene of him walking through the door, right? So there's that, except that's now the new number 6. Might as well just call him that way.
Yeah.
So it's not him. How did you guys, in terms of sequencing and the way they did it, what did you guys take? What did you guys like? It was enjoyable.
It felt that everything he was doing had a different purpose than the original number 6. From waking up to driving in to walking through those doors, it just felt there was something different about it, that he wasn't necessarily going to resign. I don't know, there was just something, his presence and his purpose was completely different in his motivations for me. Steph?
I kind of bought it.
What was it that you bought?
Well, number 6 presence specifically. I feel like he did a good job of identifying himself or making people believe. Like he had some ways to make people believe that he was actually number 6. I feel like he held the character right. I don't know. I watched it in believing that this was McGoohan in this new number 6's body, and he was going to try and find out what had happened.
Mm-hmm. Do you think he knew right away? Because, knowing that he's the one who knows Saltzman, knows the whereabouts of it, he kind of put everything together pretty fast, and now it's just a matter of getting to it.
6 is not a dumb man, so I think he caught on, and we've been showing progressively with the last couple of episodes just how quick to game he is and how quick he is to play the system.
Right.
Yeah. Because he did obviously have those flashbacks in his mind of what was going on. So, by the way, one of the biggest comparisons that I make, right, because we've been in London before, we've seen his supervisors, and the fact that now they're different, it reminds you of the village because they're always constantly rotating the heads of whoever's in charge. And, now the current, everyone else is, it's a new number 2 this time around, which is the father. But
right. Excuse me. Yeah.
So,
which I thought was very, it for a second made me think and believe that maybe this resignation was forced because the father wanted safety for the daughter's fiance.
A lot of people get that, right? So there's a photo of the father that we have. Just for by the way, as we're talking about these pictures, we always bring in pictures. So if you're listening on audio, there's a link at the bottom of the episode description that you can download these links. So there's the photo. There's Sir Charles, but yeah, I could see that. Do you think he was the one responsible for sending her to the village, or him to the village rather?
The father?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think so. But I'm not quite sure why.
I think it's simply he didn't want
him marrying her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of that. If up until this point we've been led to believe that 6 resigned because of his own conscientious objective to what was going on, and then to throw this sort of plot twist that maybe it was just a bitter old man.
Yeah, but how would that make sense to why? like if then they would know what information are they looking for then? Like if the father sent him to the village would know why he's being sent and to keep him there rather than, switching his brain. I mean, like doing a mind transfer and letting him go back to maybe his fiance.
But it's you never are supposed to use your influence for personal gain, right? So let's say Sir Charles did it, and it's just a matter of now he's got to cover it up. So hey.
Right, but I would think that Sir Charles would have a relationship with someone in the village to cover it up.
Maybe that's why there's different number twos, is they come to learn or suspect, and they just have to keep switching them out. I mean, that's a stretch. I could buy that this is just Sir Charles's grand machinations to cover up, something that he used as personal.
I'm such like the hopeless romantic. Yeah. I'm like, well, maybe he sent him away because he was in danger, and now that danger is over. Yeah. Danger man.
But just real quick to further on that is if he's even so vindictive, if Charles is so vindictive, maybe he wants to continue to punish number 6. Maybe. I mean, it's a stretch, but
obviously because Janet was very much, and we'll talk about her in a moment. She was very quick to believe that it is her number 6. And by the way, we almost got a name, but we got just code numbers. And in Poland, I am this. In Germany, I am that. Mm-hmm. But with him, he's very quick to say that there's nothing that you can say that there's an inherent problem with however you're going to convince me.
Yeah.
You can learn this information, and so. If you have someone that's that stubborn, then how are you going to push them? Mm-hmm. Right. It's the unstoppable force trying to move an immovable object.
Yeah.
Apparently, nothing happens.
Well, but I feel like with that, I don't know. It kind of makes me want to explore because, why is she so open to him coming back? Where does she think he went?
Well, she knows she's a spy. I mean, that's part of his
but
job.
For a year, if you were married to a spy and they were gone for a year with no contact, would you think that they left you? Would you think there's infidelity? Would you think all these things? Because I don't think she thinks any of those things. I think she's happy that he's around in some way, shape, or form.
So do you guys want to talk about Janet?
Yeah.
So let's dive into this. Let's bring up the picture of Janet. Only because, is this the type of woman you would have imagined him with?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, because it fit for me.
Because he's, eschewedly advances of very young and very conventionally attractive women. But, she's no frills. And number 6 is kind of no frills. But no, but look at her. She looks like, she's just a very honest, normal person. And she's not glitzy, she's not hiding anything, and in a world where you're a spy and you have to have all these layers and all these deceptions, Janet looks and not just in her appearance but just how she comes across, she is who she is, and there's got to be something comforting.
Yeah, it's so hard for me to talk about this because I just feel like no matter what I say, I shoot myself in the foot.
But I feel like though I totally hear what you say and it totally resonates. And then in my head I have this circular thing that floats back. But it's like, okay, if her dad is involved with all this craziness, what really is her saying it? Is she involved somehow in this political whatever that might be going on? Is she just the daughter of the father that's involved and gets taken care of? You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of different things that could be possible.
We have to kind of look at it from a time and society standpoint.
She probably didn't work.
Yeah, this is Britain in the 60s where, I don't necessarily, and I'm more familiar with American women history than Britain, but I don't know how much independence women had in the 60s in Britain. I'm sure to some degree, but if you come from a family where especially the father holds a lot of power, you still see this even today. Women, daughters are raised a certain way to have a certain decorum, and they expect certain things, like you find a job until you find a husband, and he may have had other plans for her, and she went off on her own and did her own thing, and he disapproved. And that's a storyline I guess I can find very believable because of my own, some parts of my family history. So
you know what, that's as good as any.
Yeah.
I see that. I think it seems to fit. And it makes sense as we talked about it. This is why he didn't have a relationship back in the village.
Which is really commendable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love number 6.
He's a great, he's a
man.
gentleman. I mean, because I was going to say, in some ways, it's obviously the other episodes have been stereotypical of, and spy movies in general, right? The double crosser is always like the femme fatale.
Yeah.
She, her weapon is her looks, and how to say it without coming offensive? Like her, she's not those women, right?
Yeah.
She does not fit that
She's
category.
not the conventional femme fatale look.
That doesn't mean she's not beautiful or anything of that
no,
nature.
it's a statement on society as a whole. It's not like, you're not saying like, oh my God, she's ugly. You're saying that, entertainment and society has taught us that there's a certain look of women in these roles. She does not fit that stereotype role. That's all you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm saving you from digging yourself a hole, Phil.
There you go. But there are a lot of people. Let me ask you this: there are a lot of people because obviously McGoohan was very much against kind of on-screen romance. We get on-screen romance here, but even though it is number 6, it's not really. It's not McGoohan. Some people think like if it was McGoohan, just even if he wanted to do it or he'd be open for it, do you really see them together, McGoohan and her? A lot of people.
I would have liked to have seen that, actually.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah,
don't agree.
I feel like he's kind of reserved.
Personality-wise, I think we've established that he's there, but look-wise, like, I don't know if they're a match, and not to be superficial about it, but a lot of people are saying that, so I'm not just saying that just because it's my own opinion.
So let's just be clear. You think that number 6 would have a hotter wife? Is that what you're trying to like?
That's what
answer?
I just tried to like dig him out of this hole.
I know, but like, there's no.
That's what people are saying. People are saying McGoohan is better than that.
Phil.
Better than that, which is a very ignorant statement.
Yeah,
better than
is.
that because he probably has a good woman. And we'll just leave it at that. I
went back in the village when I shouldn't have.
That didn't even occur to me.
Yeah.
Didn't even occur to me.
I mean, I read thesis papers about this.
I mean, okay, I'll be honest. When I first saw her on screen, it was kind of like, that's not what I would expect. But then I was like, kudos for them for in the 60s going against what I in the 20-teens would expect. So, I mean, I understand where both of you are coming from. I do, but I think in terms of if take number 6's physical looks aside, who he is as a person, this is his perfect fit.
But not even that. You got to take the time period in this woman of this status, so to speak. Like she wouldn't be as provocative as you might think. Like, a lot of that style and a lot of that's because of, it's almost like a royalty style that she is. And you don't ever see, especially in England, you don't ever see people like that looking quote unquote sexy.
Yeah, if her hair was done up a different way and different makeup, she'd look like a completely different woman. They could have probably
I feel like that.
dressed her down.
I feel like that's a far-fetched thing that people are grasping straws.
Well, I'm glad we had an honest discussion about it.
I think they made her look very very plain.
But I think that's how women
purpose.
looked. And I think she's a beautiful woman. And in that is plain, which also is kind of the flip side of that. It's kind of awesome because you would think that a guy like him would get this provocative, whatever, sexy girl. But he actually has more substance because he has a beautiful wife who has some class.
Yeah.
Like the only difference between her looking like this and looking sexy is class. Yeah, and she's got some.
And when I say plain, I don't mean she's not attractive. I mean like her makeup isn't done up. She's just very, I guess, natural.
But
maybe
people in that age and that time period wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, unless they were
unless they were a hooker.
Or
just
or
kidding.
a starlet or
We
femme
don't
fatale.
judge.
Yeah.
We don't
No.
judge.
But like, name one woman of that time period, the 60s, that is an iconic woman in England that looks sexy. Like, it's just a completely, like, they don't
That
dress.
assumes I know iconic women of the 60s.
But that's what I'm saying.
From,
like that,
from England
but
specifically.
I just
Google.
I just challenge that you guys are thinking that more of along the lines of American and now.
That could be very
which
true.
is slightly maybe a little bit more trashy than some of the classy Europeans might have in the 60s.
Especially England. I agree.
Just saying.
I've read this and I'm glad we had an
I love
honest
that
discussion.
Yeah.
I'm glad we had on this discussion about it.
All right, moving on.
While she's looking up photos of women in the 60s, let's talk about the cryptic photos of this episode. I really liked it. It was a non-talk. It was basically just action, kind of going through and figuring out what it was. But we were able to solve it. And I liked it. Nothing more there, but it was fun to watch.
The cryptic photos? Yeah. Oh, you mean the slideshow of the figuring it out?
You know, until
I want to know why he picked the E, the T, the M, and the N.
It's just their code. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's code.
But how did he know? Because it says, like, how he writes out the Seltzman, and then it's like the E is 5, T
How
is...
did we forget that?
And I get that the... Is there someone?
I'm looking at Twiggy.
Yeah.
Who was born in September 19th,
Twiggy?
1940.
Twiggy, the first supermodel ever, British, beautiful, 60s.
No one can see this photo, but...
I know.
Right.
But
And
look
she
up
still
Twiggy.
looks more classy.
She does. I love Twiggy. Anyway,
So,
sorry,
I
continue
get
back to
that
our-
they do the E is like, what chronological order the letters in the alphabet, but why did they pick the E, the T, the M, and the N rather than the S, the L, the Z, and the A? Did anyone know that?
Because you're going with evens, E, T, M, N. Otherwise, it could have done odds. So it's the every other letter, and it seems to be like the second, fourth, sixth. No,
it could have been the one that makes. There's no rhyme or reason for that.
I don't know. I'm not good at puzzles.
There's a movie called The Imitation Game that's all about solving puzzles,
I love
specifically
that game.
Enigma.
with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't think we have the full time to go into cryptic
I wish we could.
ciphers.
I'm just saying.
Because then I'll just geek out about number stations.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like I don't even know what you're talking about.
Steph, you've built up this whole thing about by the end of the season that you're going to have this code cracked. So
I
guess
hope
what?
so.
No offense, you have taken on I don't want to say it's an impossible, but very near impossible task. So best of luck to you.
Yeah,
I will
Like
have a
disappoint
theory.
viewers.
50 years people have been trying to crack the code of the prisoner.
I want a 10-page docket.
Yeah.
You want a thesis?
I want a 10-page docket. It doesn't have to be
Professor
written. I just want a slideshow for the fans. I don't want a paper that they have to read. I want a slideshow.
Okay.
Okay.
Done.
Okay.
All
Done.
right.
Anything for you, Philip.
For the fans. It's for the fans.
It's for you guys out there.
Yay.
All right. So on we go to Kandersfeld, Austria. Everything's in Austria.
It is. I don't know why. Is there a reason?
Indiana Jones had to go to Austria.
But Kandersfeld is not a real place in Austria. I looked it up on Google just so you know.
Well, Seltzman lives on Port Marion Road. I mean, how much inside jokes can you insert into this thing?
Right.
So, which by the way, number 6 is greeted. Welcome to the village.
Right. Which was amazing.
yeah.
That should be a song.
So now we have what, 3?
Welcome to the jungle.
3
We'll put the
locations?
village in there.
Yeah.
We got fun and games.
Yeah, there you
We
go.
are the people that define. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
If
that.
you got the
Yeah.
money, honey, we got your Z's in the jungle. Welcome to the Welcome to the village.
Boom.
I want you to rescore that for us.
I
next
will.
week.
Done.
But yeah, so is this what, the third supposed location of the village we have now?
In
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah, in theory at this point.
There could be more. Who knows?
No, but I mean
depending on how you count.
that we've discussed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, the coolest thing, one of the coolest things about this, and I'm hoping it's really true. I don't know, and I didn't research it, and maybe I should have. Is it true that handwriting is just as good as a fingerprint? The no two are the same?
No, that's
Here's
because you
the-
can copy handwriting.
Here's why we'll say that's not true. Because
Yeah,
my
I don't-
handwriting is never the same. Ask me for a signature. You, Steph, will get one version. And Meredith, you will.
Yeah.
That's why if you ever ask me for a signature, you're getting your own personalized signature from Phil.
Yeah, and I forget the name of there's actually like a name of like study of science about handwriting.
I know there's like
Yeah.
psychic.
Graphology.
Yeah, I know there's like psychics and stuff too, like people that read your cards kind of thing by your handwriting.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I was thinking about this and I think the same, that sometimes my handwriting looks different, but I think of my mom's handwriting, same.
I think-
always.
but I think-
like grandma's handwriting, same always. I think
But
it's
back
because
then,
we.
the emphasis was on handwriting.
That's
we
what I'm
don't write
saying, because we
anymore.
type so much and we don't write so much. You don't formulate that pattern
Exactly.
as well, which I
Yeah.
thought was super interesting.
That's it. That's it exactly.
My takeaway.
My
That's
typing is
perfect.
always the same. Times New Roman 12.
Good man.
Non-bold,
No
non-italic.
Arial. No Garamond.
There's some bold on this paper. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's some bold over here.
For, highlighting things.
And also some color. You threw some red up in here.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't talk about color. So.
But yeah, then we go to the big end.
Then we go to we go. We basically meet Seltzman finally, and he's the barber, and we have that little kind of
Which is brilliant.
I love
Why?
it.
Just because he's the like. What?
Because it's like this guy who's this scientist that can do this crazy thing is living undercover as a freaking barber. It's so exciting. It's awesome. And nobody knows.
She likes spies.
There you go. Is there more to it than that? Is he collecting hair for this science experiment?
No.
Does he dig into people's
It's
minds
possible.
as he's doing
Maybe
it?
he's just really good at cutting hair, as opposed to I'm gonna go be a dentist as a front.
But the fact that he's doing some sub job with the head,
Yeah.
it's kind of a good call.
it's a good. I can
like
see the
it.
parallel.
Yeah. And we might need hair for this thing.
Shaping the head.
Oh, some phrenology there.
Just saying.
All right.
I'll be here all show,
Well, then
which is almost over.
they get taken, and then we get into the three-way mind swap where Seltzman himself is very much, he's in sort of control.
Yes.
Right from the get-go, even though, number 2 wants him to come to his rules, Seltzman's like, we do it my way. So, I don't know, discuss. I have some questions about it, but again, it's more cursory stuff.
I feel like that was, he clearly had the power. And I like that Seltzman kept it to his, he was like, it needs to be done this way.
Yeah.
And it was something that because it was out of the hands of the technology that maybe the village has, they had no choice but to accept it.
Well, he orchestrated this.
Yeah.
This was his ultimate plan of what he wanted, and he succeeded in kind of playing the village against itself.
I agree, which leads to the question, was number 6 happy that Seltzman got away? Or was he not?
I think in that same way that he always likes when he can kind of thumb his nose at the village, it's a mixed victory. You can be happy because it took down a part.
Is Seltzman coming back to get him?
We don't know. We don't know.
Was he happy that he got away because then he would maybe go tell someone, tell his wife, tell something that's really where number 6 is?
But here's the thing: if you're look at it from this
I guess
perspective,
not.
Yeah.
Seltzman was hiding away,
Yeah.
and then it was because of number 6 that he was brought back into the village. So it's like, okay, you know what?
He needs a new job.
The best secrets are the ones that you keep to yourself.
Yep.
Right.
And so it's like, I'm not going to tell anybody about it. I'm just going to go and live in
Exactly.
wherever I am.
Yeah.
Right.
No more
It
Austria.
was his ultimate out.
It was.
Yep.
Sweet.
And we didn't even have to go to the dark side with that comment.
Nope.
Nope. We did not. There's a photo of kind of a rare photo of behind the scenes production work that I want to show you guys that, we can discuss if need be, but it's more of a, here's what it is.
It's just cool. I love when we find the few BTS shots.
Yeah, this is kind of a front shot, and then we have more of a slightly bird's eye view version of that. So you can see right there, we're looking at above, and we can kind of see the camera, the cameraman there. So it's interesting how they rigged that together, and it's a color photo. It's not a black and white photo, so that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Who's the guy up top taking this photo? I don't know.
It looks somewhat military to me. I don't know why.
I mean, the
It
village
is.
is pretty
Yeah.
much.
Well, yeah, totally. But
yeah, it's the colors,
screams
too.
That, yeah.
And the sparseness.
Well, because it's like that red orange or whatever. It's like normally hospitals is like blues and
Yeah, comforting colors.
yeah,
and this
that's
is still
very like in your face color.
I mean,
that
this
is
is
a-
Dr. Frankenstein's lab. It's not
Yeah.
going to have
It's
a lot of color there.
It's that medical green I call the Dan Winters green, which if anyone's familiar with Dan Winters, the photographer, you'll know what I'm talking about. He shot one of the covers of Benedict Cumberbatch for the Imitation Game. So
All
You got
comes
all
back
tying
full
it in.
circle.
How did you guys feel about the Colonel dying?
Well, he didn't really die.
well, no.
He did, but he didn't.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, the
Well,
body
his-
of Seltzman died.
Yeah.
And now
served its purpose.
What did you think of that line? I want it be known that to number one that I did what I needed to do. So that assumes number one that there is a number one.
Yeah.
Or at least he's assuming.
There is a number one. And it kind of, like, my whole thing was that you're number one. Kind of blows that out of the water.
Yeah.
That there's some other number one. Maybe not, but it made me feel like, there is an actual
It seemed very direct, didn't it?
number one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, it could assume that everyone just assumes there's a number one. Isn't it? We've never been told that there isn't number one.
You would all if you know there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 100, 187, it's logical to assume that there would be a number one.
Yeah, yes. However, to the same token, I mean, it seems that number 2 has a high importance, but it's not like number 6 has a higher role in the village than 143.
Right, but it makes me wonder, like, yes, there is a number one, but in the same sense, maybe there's not a number one because I don't know where I'm going with that. For only number one to exist, like you need at least 2 people to make some sort of interaction happen, so it starts with number 2.
I think number one is an Illuminati type organization that oversees everything.
Sweet. Coming for you.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, that about does it for us this week. Any stuff that you guys want to discuss, however far-fetched it may be? I mean, in this episode, as we said, it's pretty much to the point. It is what it is.
It's so straightforward. It's there's.
Is his wife number one?
Oh.
Ooh.
Who do you ultimately have to answer to?
Imagine that.
God.
That'd be
a twist in the gut.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's go with that theory for now.
I like that one.
We'll see if it holds. That would be really, really cool. So.
All right, let's see.
Let's find out.
All
right. Well, sweet.
Yeah.
All right. So, the longest title of The Prisoner, Do Not Forsake Me, Oh My Darling, We Are Done With You. Next week, we are doing Living in Harmony.
Yeah. Which the title is also 9 syllables, which is the flip of the number 6 overexposed.
Living in Harmony is?
No, do not forsake, oh my darling. Do not forsake, oh my darling.
Wait, do not forsake me, oh my darling. Yeah,
9.
There's 9. If you say me.
Okay. Why did the title have to be that long?
Because
is that a saying?
No, because it's from a song.
Because oh my darling and oh my darling, she's the number one.
Do not forsake me, oh my darling was a song that was popular in America in the 60s. It's a line from it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was the song name?
I'm blanking on it. I read it.
How did it go?
I read it in the AV Club last night.
Know what she's
Phil?
talking about.
Okay, she sang "Welcome to the Jungle." The least you can do is sing "Do Not Forsake Me, Oh My Darling."
Welcome to the Jungle so plays with this.
I know.
We need to play that as our opening. Just like mute out Jungle, and we'll go Village.
There you go. All right, so hopefully that does it. Hopefully you guys are satisfied. If there's anything that you guys wanted us to discuss, feel free to continue the conversation. There's a chat box at the bottom. Just type. Use your penmanship with your keystrokes.
That's a
get that handwriting text or font.
Yeah.
Take a picture. Send it to us of your handwriting.
Yes.
And your question.
There you go.
All
and
right.
you can do so by tweeting at you guys or Instagramming at.
You guys can find me on all the social media platforms at IAMSTEFZ. I'd love to keep the conversation going.
That's 9 letters.
She's really number
Is
6.
it really? I don't know.
No.
I don't know. You can find me on Twitter. I talk a lot there. MPLACKO. It might change one day. I keep threatening it.
And of course, follow us here at AfterBuzz TV. We do so many after shows that we hope you not only enjoy this one, but others as well. Spread the word, spread the love, tell a friend, and also, just continue on. That's the best thing you can do for us always and forever. This podcast isn't going anywhere. If 5 years from now, someone that likes The Prisoner, tell them about us.
Yeah,
we'll be
here.
here.
Awesome.
All right. Living in Harmony next Thursday on Throwback Thursday here at AfterBuzz TV. Be seeing you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.